Well, it is Happy Father's Day. We have good things happening with the Happy Father's Day. We rejoice in that. We have this particular weekend. Our sister came in, so we had all family gathering at the home place, and we had a good weekend. And just sitting over here now, so it's just good to have family and enjoy that time together. You may or may not have had family in and have time together, but it's good. Proverbs 20 verse 7 says, "A righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him." And in this day, as we bless as a nation, honor our fathers. And we know and understand that there are various father figures that we have. Some were good Christian men that fed their families. Some had fathers that were not the good Christian men. And so we understand that various ways. Some have their fathers with you. Some fathers have passed on, and we remember those. But in all this, we still honor our father and mother, since we have in mind. I'm going to go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 11 through 13. And we talk about Paul says whenever he's talking about how he dealt with the church at Thessalonica, he said we have our dealings with the church, and I dealt with you as a father does his children. Isn't that interesting? Whenever Paul says that whenever I came and taught you the gospel, and you are babes in Christ, as we say, growing up, as you are growing up in Christ, I deal with you as a father deals with his children. Now, that would be interesting to see. Now, fathers, how is it that Paul said he dealt with the church there, and how is it that we ought to deal with our children also? And we can see some things in this. How did Paul say that he dealt with them, and we deal with others also? And so this is some things that he said. As you know, we exhorted, and we comforted, and we charged every one of you as a father does his children. And then he went on to say that this is the importance of exhorting and comforting and charging you that you walk as a Christian. And that when you were taught the gospel, and I'm speaking to those who were taught the gospel, you obeyed the gospel. I'm speaking to those who obeyed the gospel on the most part. Most of you have obeyed the gospel. And now you're walking the Christian walk. That you walk, not just walk the walk, that you walk worthy, as he says. And this is our goal as fathers. That our children walk worthy in the Lord. Right? And so he said these things. We exhorted and comforted and charged you. First of all, let's look at those. When we say we exhorted and comforted and charged you, three things that we say. So a father is to exhort, encourage. We don't know what exhortation is. Encourage. And to encourage, now let's go to a physical level on this. When a child begins walking, fathers, those who are older, who have children walking, I've got grandchildren walking now, because I remember whenever our girls began to walk, and you encouraged that walk, right? And we're excited about the child taking their first steps. And think about physically as that. We've got a little Reese is 1 year old now. It doesn't seem like it's been a year since she's been born. And she's standing up by herself. I haven't received the video that she's walking yet, but I expect any day, see those taking those steps. And you encourage, come on, let's take these steps. I'll hold you. Right. We'd hold them, they grab our fingers, and we'd hold them up, and they'd take those steps. And we would be there with them, encourage them, take those steps. A father encourages, exhorts, to say that this is what we want to do. We want you to grow. We don't want you to crawl, and we're certainly not going to carry you all our life. You've got to learn to walk. If you're going to grow up, you've got to learn to walk. And so we encourage this in every way possible. When they stand up and they take those steps, and you say, come to Daddy. And Julie would hold one of them, and I'd be about 3 or 4 steps away, and we'd say, come to Daddy, come. And they take those steps, and you would receive them, and hug them, and encourage them, and let them know they really did something, taking those first steps. Exhort one another. What happens as Christians? And we need to really encourage them and help them along and say, come on, you can do it. Just had an example pop in my head. When Aaron started leading singing, I said, Aaron, you can do it. You can lead singing. He was encouraged to do it. I don't know whether I can do it or not. And we take those steps. We lead on Wednesday night. Lead a song on Wednesday night. We just have 2 songs. So he'd lead one of those songs. There's the first step. You got to take that step. And we encourage him to keep on walking, keep on growing. And as they singing on Sunday morning. Great job. Boy, it really messes with you when things don't work right. When you're up in front of people and trying to get things, and great job. Great job. At least take those steps. He's not through walking. He's just learning to walk. He's growing. So Paul says, I encourage you. Can you imagine the whole congregation of new Christians? That's what Paul went into with Thessalonica. He goes in, he preaches the gospel, new people being added, I say daily, weekly. Encourage one another. And don't stop encouraging one another just because they learn to walk. We don't stop encouraging. I encourage. I comfort you. What happens? That baby grabs you in their fingers, and they take 3 or 4 steps, and you grab them, and they reach you, and you praise them, and you exhort them. But what happens whenever they start walking and you're not there to catch them? They fall down. They fall. They're not a baby that has not walked, that started walking, and then they fall. Then what do? You kick them and you say, get back up on your feet. I didn't teach you to fall. I told you to walk. You to walk last week and here you are falling? Oh, we don't do that. What do? We go over and we pick them up and we comfort them because they fell. Are you hurt? Did you hurt yourself? Right? Who hadn't done that with a little baby beginning to walk? And they fall down and you go in as soon as you can. You get there and comfort them and pick them up. Paul said, I exhorted and I comforted you. We need a lot of comfort as with exhortation. We need to realize that we're not perfect and we fall in our Christian walk. Just like a little baby falls. Sometimes it is, we forget that we need comfort when we fall. Sometimes it is that we would say, wow, they say that. I thought they knew better than that. Well, we fall. We're human. We're not perfect. And it is that we let people down. And it is that we don't do the things that reach our expectations sometimes. And we need comfort along with exhortation. I comfort you like each one of us need comfort. Sometimes we just need someone to say, hey, are you all right? As soon as possible. We don't let that little child, when they fall and they fall down and we're there just as soon as possible, right? And pick them back. And then say, walk again. Encourage again. Just because you fall doesn't mean you stay down. You're comforted, and then you walk again. And then we charge every one of you as a father does his children. Not like that charged you. These are certain things that are going to challenge us growing as Christians. I left you with charge. I think one of the charges we have is honor your fathers and mothers. Ephesians chapter 6. Honor your father and mother. That's a charge. That's something that's set forth that we are to do and have forth in our mind. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength is another charge that we have. You may say, well, those are commandments. Well, yeah, but I see them as charges. There are certain things you need to do to grow as a Christian. There are certain things you need to grow in character. I want to leave you with these charges. I'm going to encourage you, exhort you as you do this. I'm going to comfort you when you fail in this, but there are certain things we need to do. Our charge is, and here's the charge, particularly, walk worthy of God.
And so he's talking about a
spiritual walk, not a physical walk, a spiritual walk. And so they're beginning, and they go. And so, fathers, we have a spiritual walk with our children. That's what Paul is saying to the church there. You're on the spiritual walk. Now, as Father, we did many walks, physical walk, many paths
that, I had girls, and so I deal with that. My girls didn't do a lot of things that I would have done with boys, but they did a lot of things, and we had our girls. And so we had different walks. We had an educational walk. We want them to do well in school. Then they come home, and we would say, hey, got homework? Got to get your homework done before you can do anything else. Get your homework done. We had an educational walk with our kids. We want them to grow as far as academics and further their education. They went on to college, and we encouraged that educational walk. We had athletic walks. They played ball, and we encouraged that playing ball, and we spent time at the ball field and tournaments and going and watching that growth as they continued to do that. And we had that athletic walk with them. And you could have various walks with your children. But he said that this is the walk we have. Walk worthy of the Lord. It's a spiritual walk. And so as fathers, let's remember to, as we exhort and as we comfort and as we charge, it's a spiritual walk that we have. It's of God. And then it's a personal walk, that you walk worthy. No one else can make this walk for you. I know as fathers, there are a lot of things we wish we could do for our children. Wish that they didn't have to go through heartaches and pains and that growing up. But they have to go through it. You can't go through it for them. You can't take their place with it. And you can't take their place spiritually. That they have to make a decision. And you can exhort and you can comfort and you can charge and you can set the example and you can be there and hold their hand as they're making their spiritual walk, and you can encourage in all things. But it's a personal walk, that you walk worthy of God. That you make this spiritual walk. So glad I had a mother and father who were Christian examples. Daddy was a school teacher. He was head of the business department there at Genoa. He was the only business teacher for the high school. I'm head of the business department. Yeah. And he preached. There's that little country church out there. A great example for his family, for his community, spiritual family, and leaving us an example what we need to do to grow as Christians. But there comes a time whenever I separated from my mama and daddy's faith. There was a time whenever I didn't make a decision to go to church. It's like, it's Sunday morning, we're all getting up, we're going to church. They didn't ask me, Jerry, did you want to go to church today? No, it was, you get ready and you go. It was just, Mom and Daddy said you're going. But there came a time when I left Mom and Dad. And on my faith, I had to make a decision. Am I going to get up on Sunday morning and come to church? My decision, my walk. Am I going to walk as a Christian on Monday morning when I go to work? A personal walk. It's a spiritual walk, and it's a personal walk. It's a continuous walk. You just don't walk for a period of time and then stop walking. Continuous walk. That you make the decision to become a Christian at some point in your life, and you stay faithful to that. You continue to walk. In fact, you not only learn to walk, but you learn to run. We grow as we walk. It's a continuous walk. It's not something that you start and you make that decision to become a Christian and you say, it's a wonderful thing and you rejoice at that. Remember when you made that decision to become a Christian, how happy you were, that rejoicing that you had together? Remember that. And then you continue to grow in that. It's not that you say, well, I've been a Christian 30 years. That's long enough. I've been a Christian 40 years, 50 years. Hey, I can retire now as a Christian. You don't retire as Christian. That's when it becomes all the more important to remain faithful. It's a continuous walk. Walking indicates movement. Walking indicates going from one point to another point. Some of us walk a little slower than others than what we used to, but we still move. We still go from one point to another. We walk. It's a movement. You're going from that babe in Christ to mature Christian. And Paul is encouraging this little church that he began and preached, and they were converted, and now he's going back and encouraged them. You remain faithful. You're all like children to me. And so he's writing that, encouraging, exhorting, and comforting that you walk worthy. You remember to stay faithful. Continuous walk. And then it's a thankful walk. That's what he said. For this call, we thank God without ceasing. Isn't it a thankful walk? One of the great blessings in my life as a minister is whenever people respond and I take them back in the back and I'm the one who puts them down in the water and take them up out of the water. There's a rejoicing in that. It is to know that you see them make that decision to become a Christian, that you're a part of that. And I say most of the time I'm the one, and many times it's someone else also, know that part. And then you watch that person grow as a Christian. Jill and I spent 17 years as youth ministers together, and we call our kids. We still keep in touch with our kids, and now we have our kids, and Jill and I are grandparents, spiritually speaking, with our kids, and we keep up with them. And we see that walk, and I'm so thankful. Just this last month, I had a couple of them write me about how thankful they were with our influence on their lives. They're in their 40s now. And it's just, sometimes you work with helping people grow as a Christian, and you wonder, are we making any progress? Are we doing any good? And as a church family, we need to press on and grow. We need to continue to push forward and not stay stagnant. A stagnant water, it soon begins to stink. We need that fresh water. We need to grow. We need to be thankful, number one, for where we are. Be thankful for where we're going. Because we're not going to remain where we are. We need to press forward and keep growing and keep going. It's a thankful walk. And so as we exhort and comfort and charge one another, exhort one another. Aren't you so happy whenever we see growth in Christians? Aren't we so happy? I just had another thought. Julie and I were up in Atlanta. We're sitting with this family because their boys out there playing football. And this running back gets the ball and runs down for a touchdown. And guy right in front of us, his son's out there playing, but he's not the running back. He didn't run for a touchdown. But he is hollering, hooping and hollering. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see my boy? Well, his boy was on the line. He didn't score a touchdown. Did y'all see? He finally said, did y'all see the block my boy made? Right. Well, you know what? That running back couldn't have made that touchdown without that block. He was excited about that. Did y'all see? And he finally said what he saw. All he was watching was his voice. Well, that's all right. He was proud of his voice. He wanted everybody else to know. Let me tell you about my son. Let me tell you about my children. Don't you know that Paul said when he talked about the church at Thessalonica, when he said that the whole region knows about your faith and your love and your work. Don't you know how proud he was when he said that about them? Let me tell you, I'm telling everybody about you. Go back to the first chapter of Thessalonians. We need to boast of our church family. So proud of our church family. We need to continue to remain faithful, encouraging, comfort, and charging, exhorting one another, passing it down from generation to generation. So where are we? For Father's Day, I thought this was a good passage. That you continue pressing on. You continue to walk worthy of God. That's our call. That's our charge. Walk worthy of God. Your daddy would be proud of you. Your spiritual father would be proud of you. Are you continuing to walk the spiritual walk, the worthy walk? We exhort one another, encourage one another. We comfort one another. Church, we need more comforting. Empathy instead of apathy. Comforting with one another. And we need charges. I charge you. Challenge you. That's another way to put it. I challenge you to walk worthy of God. If you're not a Christian and hadn't begun the Christian walk, we encourage you to make that decision. For visitors here, we've had visitors the last couple of weeks. Every week we've been open. Now my heart feels for you because you're coming into a congregation and you're meeting us on a different level than what we normally are. We're trying to have social distancing, and it may be that we didn't shake your hand. It may be that we didn't hug you. Certainly we didn't hug you, right? Hang with us, okay? Because as things begin to open up, we're going to open up too and let you know just really how much we appreciate you coming and being here. We don't want you to feel isolated. Hey, I went to church and no one gave me a hug. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I said, I'm going to have to wear a straitjacket. I tried, but I like to hug. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Come back. Keep on coming. You began a walk. You made a decision. Keep on keeping on. If we can encourage you and help you in your Christian growth and in becoming a Christian or asking for prayers or forgiveness or encouragement or whatever we can do to help you, come right now as you stand and as you say.